How is it literally already August? Where is summer going? Summer always goes so freaking fast. Winter always goes so freaking slow. We're not here to complain about the weather, are we? Today, we're gonna wrap up July. It should actually be a fairly quick wrap up. My wrap ups are normally kind of long, but a lot of these books that I read this past month, I read for reading vlogs. So I already talked in depth about a lot of these in other videos, but there are a few that I didn't talk about in any reading vlogs. So let's jump in. It was also one of my worst reading months. I think I only read 14 books this month. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing, but like I said, I had a lot to be reading for vlogs and I just didn't get around to reading as much. So first up that I started the month with, and my favorite read of the month, is Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I have a full reading vlog on this that I did with Nikki from Nikki and Bookland. We both did reading vlogs for this, reacting to this book, so you can check out that video for my full in-depth thoughts. But I freaking love this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It is, even looking back on it in the grand scheme of things, it is my least favorite book in the Twisted series, but I still loved it. I just love all of those books, and I think all of them are really great, that it is like, that it's hard to like stand up with all the rest of them, and I definitely think it did. Just like, I don't know. It's my least favorite out of them all, but I still gave it 5 stars. So this one follows Christian and Stella. So it is the 4th book in a series, but it is a companion novel, so you do not have to read the first 3 before reading this one, even though I highly suggest them all. This one is a billionaire fake dating, friends to lovers kind of ish story. So Stella is an influencer online. So she obviously has like a very public presence, and she has been dealing with a stalker that you've seen like very small glimpses of throughout the other books. And obviously now that you're in her POV in this one, you do get a lot more of that stalker storyline. And she is living in this apartment building that Christian owns. And Christian is a super wealthy billionaire. He has like a tech company. He has a security company. He does like a lot of shady shit that like honestly you don't really even know how he gets all of his money, but he has a lot of it. And he offered Stella like lowered rent because he's very interested in her. So separately, they are both trying to accomplish different things. Christian needs like a woman on his arm to like take to events and stuff to kind of like just appear more of like a normal kind of guy. So he needs Stella to help him accomplish that, while Stella needs a boost in her following because she's trying to get this contract with a big brand that would like really boost herself. So they agree on a little fake dating arrangement. I personally love this. Christian is one of my favorite heroes in this. He didn't beat Alex, but he is damn close. He's my second favorite hero of this whole series. I really enjoyed Stella. I liked her whole influencer storyline. It still felt grounded, even though like I feel like it could have gone off the rails. There's so much touch her and I'll kill you energy in this. If he does not cut open the hand of the guy who touched you, pours like $20,000 whiskey on it, and then is like, oh shit, I'm late for Taco Tuesday night with my girlfriend and I'm not going to be able to go pick up her salsa in time, so I better speed this up, and just ends up killing the guy and speeding off to meet you home for dinner in time, he's not the one. So yeah, I'm very sad that this series is over, but I cannot wait for Anna Huang's new series. She's an auto-buy author for me, so I will for sure be picking that up. Also, that was like a very long, so much for me being like, this is gonna be a quick wrap up. That was like literally that was like 4 minutes. That's ridiculous. Next up, I can breeze through these because I'm not talking about them individually. I read the last 4 books. I'm only missing the first one here. I read that previous month. The other 4 books in the Crossfire series by Sylvia Day. So there was a whole bunch of us here on YouTube that read or reread the series and vlogged it. So you can go check out my vlog. And then I also have in that vlog's description box, like everyone else that did it down there. Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl is the one who organized this vlog for everyone. She made a post about like how the Crossfire was one of her favorite series and like wanted to bring it back a little bit. So this was a reread for me. I read these back in 2019 and I kept my rating on all of these. I still gave these all 4 stars. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it as much the second time around. I do just think, one, I was just not, like, I was kind of over being in the mood for them by like book 3. I was just kind of like ready to be done with them, and because I had already read them before, I knew what was coming, but still it had been a while, so it was like kind of fresh and new at the same time. I don't know. I just would say I didn't enjoy it as much the second time around, but I still do like love this series and would highly recommend them. So this one is a billionaire series following Eva and Gideon. And so Gideon is a billionaire and Eva also comes from money too. Like, so she's very wealthy. Her family's wealthy. She starts a new job in New York City at the Crossfire building, which is Gideon's building that he owns. She's not working directly for him. She's working in marketing, but they meet in the lobby one day and he becomes instantly obsessed with her. And she is also very intrigued by him right at the beginning, and they start a little arrangement, but they both have some stuff in their past that like really affects their relationship that they're both trying to work through. It's a very toxic back and forth dynamic between the two of them. There's so much stuff in this series that I just completely forgot happened. I was like, unhinged behavior. Also, the timeline of this is wild. I did not catch this the first time that I read it, but I didn't realize that it literally happens, like everything for the first like 4 books happens over the course of like a month. Literally insane to me. Still would recommend. Obviously, you can check out my thoughts in that reading vlog there. I would say I don't know if I'll ever reread this again now that I've read it twice, but I did still obviously enjoy that series. Next, I read some books for a reading vlog that I did with Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings. So you can go check out that video. That's the last video that I just posted on my channel. I posted over the weekend. So in that video, Rachel gave me 3 of her favorite historical romances for me to read. And then for her video on her channel, I gave her 3 of my favorite like forbidden, taboo, contemporary romances to read. Because even though Rachel and I feel like are on the same wavelength, like as people, like our energies match, we read like pretty different things. She reads predominantly historicals, and y'all know here I read like pretty much only indie published romances. So we thought it would be fun to swap, and it was really fun. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my nose is so freaking itchy. I have so much cat hair on my face because Dorian was just snuggling with me right before this. And oh my god, my face, I'm like covered in cat hair. I can just feel it. The first up one that she gave me that I read was The Devil's Submission by Nicola Davidson. So this one follows Grayson and Eliza. So this one is a marriage in trouble BDSM romance. So Grayson and Eliza are married, but obviously, as marriage in trouble is, their marriage is on the rocks. Okay, oh, and obviously it's historical. Grayson owns a gentleman's club, which like I think nowadays would be like a sex club. In there, he gets to kind of like explore himself a little bit more. And when he first married Eliza, he thought that she was like the perfect woman for him. She was the much more dominant one in the relationship, like really communicated like what she wanted, like was not like what the traditional like lady should be back in the day kind of thing. But Eliza's mother is an overbearing woman, and she's constantly being like, Eliza, you're not being a good enough wife, you're not being demure enough, you're not being this, you're not being that, and like kind of changes how Eliza interacts with Grayson, and that in turn like kind of wrecks their marriage a little bit. So in this one, Eliza is now coming back to move in with Grayson. She had moved out for a bit, like back home for a while or something. And now she's back in with Grayson, and they're trying to like see if their relationship can work because her mom kind of put Eliza up to some shit. I don't want to get into that. But anyways, they end up back together, and they kind of realize that the woman that Eliza thought Grayson wanted is not what he did want, and he wanted her to just be like her true self. Guys, this is a novella. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I did really enjoy it. But you know, novellas are just never going to be my favorite, but it was good. I liked the dom-sub relationship between them, especially with her being the dom and him being the sub. Like, that was interesting. Yeah, overall, I liked it. You can check out my full thoughts in Rachel's vlog. The star of that fucking vlog. I'm obsessed with this book. That and Twisted Lies were my 2 favorites of the month, and that is The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shoup. So this one follows Kit and Alice, and at the beginning, so Kit, again, like I don't know all of the like historical romance lingo, but he's like a playboy kind of dude, and he's like not interested in getting married. He doesn't want to settle down, but he's very good with the ladies. And Alice is like very shy. She doesn't have like a lot of suitors. She's like single and looking to get out of her house and out from underneath her mother's thumb because her mother is a piece of fucking work. And she's really trying to find a man, but she doesn't know how to like even really talk to them, how to like seduce them, how to attract a husband that wants her for her, because she wants to marry for love, or at least like a good match, rather than just like a guy wanting her dowry, which is like the money the guy gets if he marries a woman back then. Anyway, she doesn't want that, so she enlists Kit to help give her some lessons in seduction, and it is so good. From like the first chapter, I just got immediate good vibes from it. My vibe meter was like up when I started this book, and it continued on throughout the whole book. I literally loved everything about Kit and Alice. I loved them individually. They both had like enough going on for themselves, like outside of the relationship, that then when they were together, it made it just seem like more of a well-rounded picture. I loved the progression of their relationship. I loved how strong Alice was. Like at the beginning, you could tell that she was like on like uneven footing a little bit, but by the end, she was like, no, I know that Kit's never gonna marry. He's made that very clear to me, and I'm not gonna sit here and beg him for it. So like, I'm gonna have to do what's best for me and leave. And she does that. And I loved it. She wasn't like, oh, please stay with me. Like, I know you said that you wouldn't do this. No, she had none of that. She was like, no, I'm gonna go find myself a match if you're not gonna be here for me. It was just incredible. So I don't know, 5 stars, 5 stars. I want to continue on with that series. It was literally so good. I would highly recommend this book. It was so good. I loved everything about it. Anyways, and then the last one that I read for this vlog was The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. So this one I gave 4 stars to. This one follows Ash and what was her name? Ash and Emma. So Ash is a veteran and he was wounded in battle by a rocket, I think, like that misfired. So he has like a lot of burn scars on like half of his face and down like half of his body. And that in turn has turned him into like a recluse. He's like not involved in society anymore. He stays in his mansion. He's like very down on himself, very depressed. But he does need a wife because he needs an heir. And that's really all that he cares about. He doesn't care about having a wife. He just wants someone that can give him an heir. And when Emma shows up at his house in the first chapter in a wedding dress, demanding payment because she is a seamstress and she made this dress that she's wearing now for Ash's ex-fiance. He was engaged when he went to war, and when he came back, their engagement was broken off for reasons you'll find out. And she wants payment, and he's like, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll make you a duchess. Marry me and have my heir. And yeah, it goes from there. So it's a marriage of convenience. This one I did really enjoy too. I liked it a lot. I was just always like excited to sit down with my Kindle to read it. There were certain things about it that didn't necessarily work for me that I did. That's what bumped it down to 4 stars. But overall, I really enjoyed the romance. I really enjoyed Emma a lot. I liked her and Ash's progression of their relationship and everything. And yeah, just once again, this was really great. Rachel, you had great picks. Next, I read 2 novellas, all kind of in the span of some of these other reading vlogs because I just needed something quick, a little palate cleanser through some of them. So I picked up first Dirty First Dates to the Arcade by Harley LaRue. I love Harley LaRue, and when I saw these, I was like, ooh, I need to jump into that, and I'm so glad that I did. So this first one, the arcade one, I gave 4 stars to. So this one follows Violet and Aiden. So they're very short, like they're literally like 30 to 40 pages, and it's exactly what it is. It's a first date. And I forget in this one how these two met. Oh, is it because I know in the second one they met in like class at college, but I can't remember if that's how these two met as well. Oh, I'm like completely blanking on that. I forget about that, but nonetheless, Violet's been wanting Aiden for a while and is like very interested in what he, like the vibes that he's giving off. And they decide to go on a date to this arcade, and it just dives into some very, steamy times. This is like no thought, no plot, just hot. Like, you know, that video that I did a while ago, this is that. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I loved this one. And yeah, it's literally just them at an arcade for a hot first date. And then the second one that I read, The Dirty First Dates, The Museum, that one follows Gabriel and Ash. And this one, I know for sure that they met in college. They met in a class. They have a class together. And Ash has been lusting after Gabriel. And then finally, when he asks her out, she takes him up on it. And they go to the museum. And again, they have just a hot first date. So there's different like subject matters in each of these. So definitely like look into which one you'd prefer. I mean, I definitely preferred the arcade more. I just liked that one a little bit more, but I did still really like the museum one. I gave the museum one 3.5 stars. If you've read anything by Harley LaRue, you just know that she just writes a certain level of spice that just delivers, and these were fun. Next up for my 2 book clubs that I co-host. So first up, Out of Bounds book club pick that I run with Nikki from Nikki and Bookland. Our pick for last month was Cruel Black Hearts by Candace Wondrak. And this was a fun time. I loved this live show too because there was so much to talk about with this book. So I gave this book 4 stars. The ending really pulled it together for me. The book as a whole, it was radiating 3.5 star energy. And I was like, the ending is either going to bump it up to 4 or round it down to 3. And the ending bumped it up for me. I can't wait to read the second book. So this one is a dark reverse harem romance. This one follows Stella, and she is like a blogger. She works for a newspaper and she has a column there or whatever. And she loves to write about serial killers. She's very intrigued by serial killers, and she's just like a little odd. She doesn't really like fit in with a lot of people. She doesn't have a lot of friends, whatever. And she just really has a fascination with serial killers. And one night she's out at a bar where she meets Edward, and he brings her home. He introduces her to his roommate, Lincoln. And, you know, the 3 of them start a little situation. And Stella just thinks that they meet by chance, but Edward has in fact been following Stella for quite some time. He's very intrigued by her blog on serial killers because him and Lincoln, are, you guessed it, serial killers. We don't get a ton of them like serial killing in this one. I'm assuming we're going to get more, but you are aware of the fact that they are both killers. And yeah, so while they start like having this little dating situation kind of going on, there's also a new serial killer in town that Stella starts reporting on, and that only thickens the plot more for her, the two of them, for some other people in town, you know. It was just like fun. There's a lot going on. Some of the things in the writing didn't necessarily click for me, and some things like did really annoy me, like the emphasis on Stella's eye color. That was like her only personality trait, was the fact that she had two different colored eyes. And I was like, this is just like getting to be a little bit much. But the ending, like I said, it ends on a huge cliffhanger and definitely has me intrigued to keep going with the series. So yeah, I gave that one 4 stars and I would recommend, but obviously it is darker, so definitely be aware of that going in. And then for the other book club that I co-host with Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl, we have Smut Club, and our Smut Club July pick was In Flight by R.K. Lilly. So this one is a billionaire romance, which Cheyenne and I both love. Like, it had all of the fixings for Cheyenne and I to love, and yet it was fun. It was good. I gave it 3.5 stars. So this one follows James and Bianca is a flight attendant, and James is often on her plane in first class. She runs the first class area, and he's a billionaire, so he's flying up there, and he starts like pursuing her basically. So, but he wants a very strictly like physical relationship. Like, he doesn't want to date, and it is like BDSM as well, and he just wants like that relationship with her. He's not interested in dating her really, but he also wants like exclusivity, right? That's the word. Yeah. Bianca has some stuff in her past that is pretty dark and like holds a cloud over her a little bit, but in turn the relationship that James can offer her in terms of like the dom sub kind of relationship kind of lets her be able to like free herself from some of that. So anyways, there are a lot of things that I liked about this book. There were a lot of things that I didn't. I think too, I just was kind of over billionaires. I read a lot of billionaires this month and I was kind of sick of it. It kind of was like Crossfire series-esque, 50 Shades of Grey-esque. Like, it's just, they all kind of started to blend together. Like, I don't necessarily think there was anything about this that was like super special, and I won't be going on like and continuing with the series. The ending did kind of pique my interest a little bit. I really liked the side character of Stefan, like her best friend. I really liked him a lot. But yeah, I just think overall, I probably won't ever continue on with the series. And it's not in Kindle Unlimited too, so I mean, that's kind of a damper for me. I don't know, you can watch Cheyenne and I's live show. Our Wi-Fi was acting the fuck up during that, so I mean, I'm so sorry for that. You can still go back and watch that live show and hear both of our full thoughts, because I think we were kind of on the same page that it was like fine, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna forget about it. In the grand scheme of the year, like at the year when I look back on all my books, this is not going to be one that I'm going to remember. Okay, next up is one, Don't Let This Cover Fool Ya, Faking with Benefits by Lily Gold. So I read this one because I plan on doing a reverse harem romance recommendation video for you guys very, very soon. Be watching for that coming. But I realized when I was putting together my list of reverse harems, every single one that I have read is dark. Dark or mafia or fucked up or bully. Like, all of them have some sort of level of darkness to them. And I was like, I want at least just one. Just one for the lighter crowd. I don't think I really have the lighter crowd here because I tend to read dark, fucked up shit. But I was like, I just want at least one lighter option. So I saw this one and I was like, let me give this one a shot, and don't let the cartoon cover fool you. It is still spicy and it delivers on that. You know, if you're coming to me, you're still gonna get some spice in it. This one follows Layla, and she is a successful lingerie business owner. She has her own business and it's doing fairly well. But one thing that is not going well in her life is her dating life. She's been on a lot of first dates, keeps striking out, and she's kind of like, what am I doing wrong? She doesn't really know what she's doing that is making second dates never happen and like running the men off. So her 3 neighbors across the hall, what were their names? They got the most basic fucking names. Josh, Zach, and Luke. Show stopping. These 3 neighbors across the hall, they're like all kind of friends with her. So one of them is an ex-rugby player. He had an injury and has since retired. One of them, I think just like runs the podcast. So the 3 of them have a podcast, and I think one of them, like, that's kind of like just his thing. He like runs this podcast specifically. And then the third one is her ex-teacher from high school. He taught her for like 1 year, years ago, but she's like 26 now. It's like 10 years later or something. So it's like not like student teachery vibes, even though he's like, I can't, she used to be my student, and they're all like, get the fuck over it. That was literally like 10 years ago. So anyways, they all run a podcast, but their podcast is kind of suffering at the moment because their audience is kind of like losing interest in them a little bit. Some other podcasts are like calling them out for some things. So whatever, they're looking to do a new segment. So they decide, what if we fake date Layla and like do this whole dating experiment to kind of like find out what she's doing wrong. And she agrees, and in turn she can like promote her lingerie business on here. Kind of like a mutually beneficial setup for all of them. But as they get going, of course, even though it's supposed to be just this experiment, it's supposed to be fake, the feelings are not fake. It was good. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. My biggest gripe with it is that it did not need to be 560 something pages. It did not. I don't feel like any contemporary book for the most part needs to be over 500 pages. Hello, garbage people. Great timing right at the end here. Thank you. It's been a while since they've made an appearance. Hello. So I did enjoy this. I liked Layla. I liked the relationship. The third act kind of bugged me a little bit, but overall I like did enjoy this book a lot, and it was like fun and cute and but also hot. Lastly, even though the garbage people are here, this is gonna be super quick because I read Flock. So this book I'm literally not gonna talk about at all because I have a reading vlog coming for this. So this video is gonna be up on Tuesday, I think, and this reading vlog is going to be coming on Friday. So I am reading the whole Ravenhood trilogy by Kate Stewart. My lips are sealed on this. You'll see my thoughts. So I just started Exodus last night, and all I will just say right now is that I love Dominic, and oh, extra loud, hold on. Boom. I have absolutely no idea what's going on, and I'm excited for Exodus. All right, so anyways, you're probably still gonna hear the garbage truck in the background. That's it for today. Like I said, Ravenhood series reading vlog is going to be up on Friday, and otherwise that is it for today, and I will see you when I see ya.